Hello, everybody. Ernie Johnson here alongside Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. Welcome to the NBA on 2K Sports. Tonight, we'll see the Toronto Raptors playing against the Miami Heat. Looking at Miami, they're looking to come out strong and make their mark early. They have to look at this game as a great opportunity to do just that. All right, guys, topic of the day. There was a stat that came out that was really interesting. Until last season, every NBA Finals in the last 15 years included either Duncan, Kobe, or Wade. Kenny, do you think Wade's impact on the NBA has gone underrated?
I think it has. I would say that I can't name 3 two guards in the history of the game that have a better career than him. I don't think I can name more than 3. Jerry West, Michael Jordan. That's about it. I'm not sure.
You know, above all else, Wade has won titles.
Kobe.
And he's done it in a number of roles with a number of rosters. He's a unique player, and over the last decade and a half, I have to agree with you, Kenny.
But those are the 3.
Yeah,
Kobe,
I agree with you.
Kobe, Jordan, and West. Everyone else can't say they had a better career. Maybe it's equal, but not better.
That's a good one to consider, good one to chew on. Time now for tip-off. We send it over to Kevin Harlan for the call.
We are live, the home of the Raptors in downtown Toronto, the Air Canada Centre. We're all set to bring you NBA action. This is Kevin Harlan to call the game with our analysts Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony. It'll be the Heat off the tip. All fueled up and ready to go. Brought to you by Gatorade. Let's check out who's on the floor. On the floor for Miami, Dragic is joined in the backcourt by Wade. Johnson is out there with Dang, and it's Whiteside in at the center, locking down the middle. Now here's Wade. Shot clock at 5. Off with the layup.
And Dwayne Wade, as we know, one of the best in the business at blocking shots from that off-guard position. Hard to think of a guard who has had as many swats as Dwayne Wade in the past couple decades. One of the best ever.
Whiteside inside. Scola on him. Whiteside, good.
And they get the first bucket.
And they'll hope that sets the tone at the offensive end going forward. It doesn't always work out that way, but better to start fast than not.
Valanciunas with a screen on Dragic. Lowry, and it's blocked by Dang. Takes the 13-footer. That's good from Wade on the assist by Dragic.
Wow, got that one off right in the face of the big fella. Nice quick-fire release.
Yeah, and the mid-range shot really the only option in that situation. Sometimes when you're facing a bigger guy, you can't get it all the way to the rim.
Now, here's Lowry. Carroll dishes to Scola. Shot is off. Nice D from Dang. Greg, you're talking about Wade on the blocks. Last season, he climbed up to 6th all-time in blocks, Clark, by an NBA guard.
Amazing. Actually has the most blocks of any player who is his height or shorter in NBA history. Even with his explosiveness waning, his timing and savvy allow him to still be effective blocking shots. He had his head on the swivel and was able to pick out the pass and get the assist.
They need a good offensive possession.
Yeah, they've had a number of empty ones a long time without a basket.
They got to find something. You're right. Here's Valanciunas, and it's Dang with the rebound.
I didn't see that miss coming. I mean, he's usually been money from that range.
Johnson the screen. Carroll against Dang. Johnson right side. Over to the wing. Whiteside, the pass to Johnson, and that one's good.
You know, you're going to have success when you can start out shooting 80% from the game. So Early offensively, they've been great. That's the way you like to start.
Now, here's DeRozan. And Valanciunas kicks to Carroll. Passes it to DeRozan to end the run. And it's good on the way in.
It took them a while, but finally they take the lid off.
You know, sometimes all it takes is one to get a team going. We'll see if that's the case here.
Dang gets a wide open look. Misses the three.
Boy, they're fortunate. Defense was taking a big chance leaving him that wide open behind the arc.
Lowry with the ball. Teardrop shot. Rebound by the Heat.
And they're 1 of 5 to start this game. Just really haven't gotten into a flow offensively.
Dragic kicks to Dang. Again, the miss by Dang. Raptors trail by 6. Right now we're going to go to Doris Burke, who spoke with head coach Eric Spoelstra. What'd you find out, Doris?
He told me there aren't many big men with the mobility and length of Jonas Valanciunas, and that he's a player they'll really have to account for, saying, quote, JV's still developing his skill set, but there just aren't that many people in the world of his size. And you factor in his motor, he can really impact the game. Guys, we'll see how they try to deal with him.
And thanks for that story, Doris. Here's Wade after the made shot from Jonas Valanciunas. Valanciunas against Dang. He feeds it to Dragic. Here's Whiteside. Blanketed by the D. He fights to the rim for the layup. Whiteside's got his second bucket of the game to go. Raptors have gone 2 of 6 from the field. Valanciunas with a screen on Dragic. Here's Lowry. Lets it go from 11. Carroll dishes to Valanciunas. Outside DeRozan. The basket drops and he gets fouled on the shot. One free throw coming his way.
You know, he'll make you scratch your head and throw your hands up as a defender. I mean, you just don't know how to play.
Thing about DeMar DeRozan, he came into the league fairly unpolished, struggled to handle the ball, created then his own shot, and but sometimes he would create for others too.
Yeah.
But he's settled down. You can see the growth.
Yeah, and that's the one thing. You could see the physical talent was there in terms of him playing the two. The question was, could he make the commitment mentally to become a great player? Well, from what he's done the last few years, I would have to say he's definitely been able to do that.
Raptors trail by 5. Here's Lowry. He's been patient so far. Nothing yet on the scoreboard. Scola against Dang. Scola passes to Lowry. 6 on the shot clock. Back to Scola. Carroll for 3. 1 up, 1 down. 2 points with his first shot this game. For Miami, they've gone 6 of 10 from the field in this ballgame. Wade against DeRozan. Wade kicks to Whiteside. The timely screen gave him a step, and he took it all the way.
That was a smart pass by Wade that time. Boy, last season, Hassan Whiteside made a huge splash in the NBA. Big blocks, big rebound totals, but he had some head-scratching moments as well. Missed his share of action due to suspension.
Patrick Patterson, he's checked in for Luis Scola. And GA, as you said with Whiteside, his fiery attitude flared up a few times last season, and it hurt his team more than once in Miami.
No doubt, and it's something that he has got to work on. I mean, he's proven that he can be a big-time player in this league, but he can't have the mental lapses that get him tossed from games and hurt his team.
And it's DeRozan missing. The Heat leading by 5. Whiteside sets the pick for Dragic. Clock at 6. No one near Whiteside as he lets it go. Miami no good on that time either. scoring yet from him, but that's likely to change. Carroll dishes to Patterson. Toronto working the ball around now. Carroll, no one around him. Wide open, couldn't capitalize. The Heat have gone 7 of 12 from the field here in the first quarter. Right side a screen. Right side a screen on DeRozan. Wade passes to Whiteside. And the shot is good, dropping in off the front of the rim. Whiteside's got 9 points.
4 of their last 5 makes came off of a high-quality shot inside.
Textbook. Really, when you look at how they're playing, they are having their way down low.
And some changes here for the Raptors. Biyombo, he's checked in for Jonas Valanciunas. For DeMar Carroll. And it's Joseph in for DeMar DeRozan. And a new group getting ready for Miami. Amari Stoudemire. He's checked in for Whiteside. Josh McRoberts comes in for Luol Deng. Winslow's checked in for Johnson. And it's Richardson in for Dwayne Wade. Now here's Joseph. Patterson, the screen. And Joseph kicks to Biyombo. Here's Powell. Beyond the arc. And the Raptors miss again.
And he made sure not to just draw the foul. That was good defense out on the perimeter.
Very good. He's a thinking man's defender. Knows how to bother even the best shooters without being overly aggressive.
If you give him an inch of space, he's going to make you pay.
Patterson a screen on Dragic. Lowry drives in, and the rejection by Stoudemire.
They've been beating them to a lot of those loose balls and rebounds here to start.
Yeah, the half and half balls are going their way, and that's really a function of effort and intensity. You know, the ball doesn't discriminate. Whoever goes and gets it, that's who owns it.
So it's Toronto now. Following the score by Miami. Powell, that's good.
Kyle Lowry with a beautiful setup.
Miami leading by 9. Richardson dishes to Dragic. Now here's Winslow. No scoring yet from him, but that's likely to change. And oh, here we go. Lowry's got the fast break chance. Sinks that one from the post.
Great D. Picked it off and took it all the way for the solo finish.
Lowry against Dragic. Over to the left wing. Now here's Winslow. He's tightly guarded. Dragic with it. Guarded now by Patrick Patterson. It's Dragic with the drive. Can't hit from 12.
You can see how much the defense respects him. I mean, they were all over him on that look.
The Miami Heat came up short last season in hopes of getting back to the playoffs. Clark, their road record didn't help them much.
Yeah, 17 and 24. I don't think you can be that far under 500 on the road and hope to play in the postseason.
The Heat with the lead. Now Richardson. The dish to Winslow. Or the 3. That's Biyombo with the rebound. Toronto's gone 1 of 2 from long range in the first quarter. Joseph with the ball. Patterson, the screen. Joseph, the pass to Biyombo. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here. And guys, Bismack Biyombo, he got into a groove at the end of last season. After Al Jefferson went down, remember the month of April, he averaged nearly 9 rebounds a game, 2.5 blocks. He was all over the floor.
Yeah, and that's Bismack. I mean, he's that guy. He cleans the glass for you. He intimidates shooters in the lane. He's not all the way consistent yet, but he's shown steady improvement.
The first one falls.
Talking about Bismack Biyombo, he entered the league as an extremely raw prospect. Was the 7th pick in 2011. His shot and general awareness were the biggest concerns, but last season he shot over 60% from the floor. The 2 seasons before that was only 45%.
And Toronto making a change here. Ross is checked in, and Biyombo drops them both.
And getting back to Biyombo for a moment, he has the potential for a breakout year. I mean, all the physical tools you would want. He's seen enough of the game. He's worked on those skills. Now it's time to just put it all together and become the player your potential dictates.
Miami leading by 5. This is to McRoberts to the middle. There's Winslow. Plays it up and banks it in. Winslow's got his first bucket in this one.
Some defensive breakdowns are starting to show up now. Their last 4 buckets allowed have come from very close range.
Yeah, high percentage shots are what they are getting in terms of the attempts, and that's just not going to get it done. They've got to figure it out.
It has not been an easy quarter for him, at least offensively speaking.
Stoudemire setting the pick for Dragic. To the wing on the left. Feeds away. Biombo with the block, but he gets it back. Just 5 to shoot. Second chance shot, and it comes off the front of the rim.
They've been sensational on the backboard to start this game.
Yeah, sensational is a really good word for it, Greg. They're tearing it up on the glass.
And Patterson kicks to Ross. Patterson setting the pick for Joseph. Shoots a 3, and that one's good. Here's Dragic. And 1:01 left here in the first quarter. Stoudemire, the screen. Dragic dishes to Stoudemire. He's now 1 for 2 with that bucket.
I'm not sure who was supposed to be on him that possession. I mean, apparently neither did the defenders.
There's 47 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Now here's Joseph. He's guarded by Dragic. There's the pick. And Joseph kicks to Patterson. Hits the target from 18 feet.
If you're waiting for him to miss when he's that open, you're going to be in for a long wait.
The Heat leading by 4. Richardson the pass to Dragic. 7-second difference, shot and game clock. Winslow kicks to Dragic. And the pass to Winslow. 4 on the shot clock. Shoots from the elbow. Good as the jump shot falls. And the Heat lead by 6.
Not an easy finish right there, but a beautiful move to give himself just enough space to get in close and knock it down.
Joseph. Monumental buzzer beater!
What a thrilling shot for one team and a heartbreaker for the other.
Simply fantastic. Cool as they come. Even keel and flatline that one.
And DeMar DeRozan, star for this Toronto Raptors team, he said he wants to bring them back.
A lot of people never really pay no attention to the Raptors. They just look at the Raptors like another team, you know. So when I came, you know, I just wanted to bring that feeling back and the excitement that everybody had for the Raptors.
Let's face it, it's never easy for Toronto to get the attention that Clark, the U.S. teams get. That's just a fact of life that even Vince Carter at his best couldn't change.
And, you know, I don't even know if winning the championship would change that. Quite honestly, even if DeMar won the MVP. Just saying.
Yeah. And the first quarter is in the books. Second about ready to get underway. And let's quickly break down the game we've seen from Miami, guys.
You know what? They're dominating on the backboard. They have controlled the paint thus far.
Flexing their muscles down low, and they've limited second chances too, guys.
On the court for Miami here in the second. Dragic is joined in the backcourt by Wade. Dang out there with Whiteside. And it's Johnson in at the 3 slot. Now here's Joseph. Down low. And it's blocked by Whiteside. And they'll keep possession.
And they're controlling the boards, Kevin. That's +5 in that category.
And guys, you know that rebounding is a huge part, a huge component of winning games. It's not a glamour stat, but it's necessary if you're going to be a winning team.
And let's take a moment, guys, to get your take on the scoring so far for Miami.
Guys, right from the start, it's been apparent they're determined to establish a presence in the paint.
You know, another factor in their offense so far has been their ability to convert and score off turnovers.
First free throw is good. Dwayne Wade continues Clark to change his game as he gets older. I admire the way guys can do that. Their head says one thing, but their body kind of tells them another.
And you have to give in to your body as you age, that's for sure. Used to attack the rim all the time. Now it's mid-range jumper heavy.
Tamari Carroll's checked in for the Raptors. Lowry comes in for Joseph. And both free throws good for Wade.
And for Wade and his change in style, I really felt it was a necessity. Guys his age can't continue to hit the floor as often as he's used to and expect to make it all the way through the season.
Now here's Dragic. Dang with the screen for Johnson. Dishes to Dang. He got an advantage there off the pick and took it right in. Dang's got the lead up to 11 now for the Heat.
They're forcing the ball inside, and it's working beautifully.
It really is. 5 out of 6 of their last field goals have come from the paint.
Here's Carroll. Here's DeRozan. And he overshot that one, missing.
And, you know, in general, back to Wade now. All the greats evolve and add to their games as their careers move forward. The best way to stay relevant in the NBA is by adding to your game and honing your skills.
And what a tough position Luol Deng found himself in last year in a small forward swap of sorts. LeBron James goes from Miami to Cleveland. Deng goes from Cleveland to Miami. He had his choice. There was Atlanta that was in the mix there too. But he goes to the Miami Heat. He's bounced around a little bit, but still a very big talent.
He is. You know, he kind of likes following legends. Remember, Scottie Pippen was that great small forward in Chicago, and Luol Deng was the next heir apparent. So he seemed to be pretty comfortable stepping into LeBron's role. Unfortunately, not able to deliver at the same level. And let's face it, the problem is you can't make up for losing the best player in the game, and that's the case here in Miami for Luol.
Deng hits them both.
And, you know, getting back to Luol Deng, he wasn't entirely pleased with his new role. He's been a knockdown mid-range shooter throughout his career, but last year he was asked to shoot corner threes and volume, and that's not his game.
Now here's Valanciunas. No good off the back of the rim.
The edge on the glass is the difference. It's allowed them to build this lead.
And really a reflection of their superior effort level to this point. It seems to me they've gone after this win a little bit more.
And back to Luol Deng. I mean, he started last season pretty strong. I mean, Deng was actually healthier than LeBron at the beginning of the year, but the tables turned around midseason. Deng became hobbled with that knee, and LeBron returned to his old dominant self.
And Hassan Whiteside of Miami had the breakout year of all breakout years. Clark, he blew up in the right way last season, averaged a double-double over 48 games.
Yeah, and great to see for Whiteside because he did have some issues prior to the breakout year, and it's nice to see him find his stride and produce with that awesome talent he has.
And both free throws good from Whiteside.
And talking about Whiteside, he isn't completely out of the woods yet. I mean, after a couple of ejections last season, his teammates publicly condemned his actions. They questioned his maturity, challenged him to be more reliable. And for the most part, he was after those incidents.
That's good. Carroll's got 5 now.
And that's a great piece of work to get to the hoop there. Just tore the D to shreds.
Dragic kicks to Deng. Johnson with a screen on Patterson. Deng dishes to Johnson. Good ball movement here by Miami. All sorts of time. Miami no good on that time either.
And you know the thing about Whiteside, guys, when he's right, he's an unbelievable game changer. Second in the league in blocked shots last season. Also posted the second best field goal percentage. The guy can play if he keeps his head squarely on his neck.
Now here's DeRozan after the miss from Joe Johnson. And DeRozan, here we go. And it's blocked by Whiteside. In transition, here comes Miami. And Dragic gets it to go on the assist by Wade. And the Heat lead by 15.
You know, there's no better sign of how efficiently a team is operating than And there's our fantastic.
Just beautiful when they play the game like this.
Luis Scola, he's checked in for Toronto. And Toronto has possession. Here in the second quarter, just under 3.5 minutes played. DeRozan passes to Valanciunas, and Whiteside sends it back.
+8 in the rebound differential. One more reason why they're in control.
Yeah, double-digit advantage on the scoreboard. They've taken the initiative. They've played, I think, with more purpose so far. It's been a real difficult game for him offensively, and it's costly.
Feeds to Johnson. Whiteside kicks to Dragic. There's the screen. Pass to Johnson. Wade with no one around. And not a good shot for him. They can get better looks than that. And here's Lowry. It's deflected and stolen by Whiteside. And the foul on Jonas Valanciunas. That'll be his second foul of the game.
Boy, with 2 fouls now, he really has to be disciplined and under control for the rest of this half.
Outside Dragic. He dishes it to Wade. Whiteside a screen. Whiteside a screen on DeRozan. Tipped away.
Great reflexes to get a hand on that pass and go the other way with it.
And that one's good. And here are the Heat. They're on a 13-4 run. Whiteside dishes to Wade. Pass to Johnson. Whiteside sets the pick for Johnson. And the rejection by Valanciunas. 6 to shoot. Second chance shot. And Dang puts it in. Dang's got 11.
And now he's taken a solid opening in the quarter and built on it here in the second.
Lowry drives in, kicks it to Valanciunas. A leaner. The shot's good on the assist by Lowry.
And he's showing us a little bit of everything now, taking a leaner with no one on him.
Well, the one word you can use to describe the Raptors postseason last year, disaster. I mean, Greg, nothing went right for him.
Yeah, I mean, after that great regular season, they were completely just manhandled by the Wizards, swept out of the first round in 4 straight.
And he gets the bucket. Carroll's got 4 points this quarter.
They have repeatedly probed inside in the first half, guys, and it's paid dividends.
And with as many points as they've gotten in the paint, you know, they haven't had to do much work on the perimeter.
And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Well, I tell you, the Raptors really were befuddled with how that series went. I mean, they just never got things going and became the first team to get swept with home court advantage in the playoffs since 2011.
Okay, gentlemen, 2 shots. 2 shots.
And he makes the first.
And guys, you look at the Raptors last season and how they stumbled at times. You could see that they would have trouble in the postseason with the way they were constructed. I don't think anybody saw a sweep coming, but that's what it ended up being.
Biombo, he's checked in for the Raptors. And Wade drops them both.
You know, they've changed their game here in the second, getting a little bit more physical, playing with some toughness now.
And I'm looking for them to increase that lead if they can keep getting to the free throw line.
Now here's DeRozan. He's got 5 to the middle. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2. They get Hassan Whiteside.
And for Luis Scola, a very different role for him over the last 2 years. I mean, he was a starter for most of his career, then signed with Indiana, who had David West at the 4. Off the bench, though, Scola still played efficiently, but he was just used to putting up much bigger numbers for other teams.
Greg, you were talking about Scola. He has the physical skills, Clark, to make a difference.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, he's not spectacular in anything, but he's really solid in just about everything. A pro's pro, and he adds value, tremendous value to any team he's on.
Here's what Miami's going with right now. Winslow's checked in for Johnson. And it's Richardson in for Goran Dragic. And so Luis Scola nails both of them. Well, you look back at the 2015 Heat, and the injuries are what probably brought that team down. We can go from Chris Bosh with the debilitating blood clot on his lung and on and on and on. The loss, of course, which was not an injury, of LeBron James. There are a lot of moving parts with that team.
And that's a great point, Kevin. If you take any star off a team, things are going to get difficult. It was impressive that the Heat still managed to stay competitive once Bosh went out. And how about the offensive rebound with a little extra punch on the putback?
You're right, Greg. As they look to trim the deficit, could we see them send a few more bodies to the boards from here on out? Maybe, just maybe.
Well, I don't think it would be a bad idea, Kevin. I mean, they could use all the second chance points they can get.
And guys, that's one of the more basic plays in anybody's playbook, but not to mention also truly one of the best.
And Greg, the pick frees him up, and Clark, the dunk, caps it off.
Well, you know, for me, guys, it's all about positioning and anticipation on those screen plays, and they got it right there.
Doris Burke has some information for us. Doris?
Well, guys, I was able to listen in on what Eric Spoelstra was going over with his team in that last huddle. He made it clear that their offense needed to run through Dang. Coach emphasized getting him as many touches as possible, saying he is going to be one of the guys to carry us the rest of the way. Guys, they're clearly hoping those changes have an effect even before this game makes it to halftime. Kevin?
Thanks, Doris.
You know, Bosh was the big injury hit for the Heat, but they had a lot of other injuries as well. I mean, had to use 31 different starting lineups last season, and 20 different players started at least one game.
Josh McRoberts is checked in for Luol Deng.
And injuries are something that you can't plan for, but you can prepare for them. And hopefully the Heat can avoid injury woes this season. If they can, they at least have players who have been through that struggle last year.
Now here's Wade. 8 points for him. Mick Roberts misses. Here's Powell. The feed now to Biyombo. Lowry kicks to DeRozan, and so it looks like the Raptors will retain possession here.
Well, that's inexcusable to throw a pass that far off the mark.
And some changes here for the Raptors. Ross comes in for DeMar DeRozan, and Corey Joseph subbed in for Kyle Lowry. And the Raptors with the ball. They trail by 9 points.
And you know what? You allow a guy to get right to the rim like that. That's your only option.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, free throws are always better than a layup, so I'd agree with you there, Greg.
The Raptors have shot a good percentage from the free throw line so far. They've made 5 out of 6.
And as a unit, they're shooting 78% from the line. That's a solid number to work with on the season.
The free throw drops for Scola.
And the Raptors have been talking about changing things up in the logo department for a while. Finally, we get a chance to see the new logo this season.
And so he hits both. As you said, the Raptors with the new logo this year, Greg. Good-looking change, too, I think, Clark.
Yeah, I think it's subtle enough to not lose the continuity, but still feel fresh and new. I like that. That's a nice job of balancing the old with freshening up for the new.
Now, here's Wade. 8 points for him. The 10-footer. Luis Scola with the rebound. Scola's got 3 rebounds now in this one.
Even though he isn't having the best of games from the floor, it hasn't seemed to hurt him.
Here's Joseph. 5 points in the game. Scola left side. Hits the jumper in space. Scola's got 6 in the quarter. And Miami has possession. Wade kicks to Richardson. They set the pick. And Winslow now top of the key. And the shot is good.
Not much the defense can do once he gets to the bucket.
Raptors trail by 7. Now here's Joseph. He kicks it to Biombo. Here's Powell. Richardson covering. 5 on the clock. And it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Stoudemire. Patrick Patterson. He's checked in for Luis Scola. Here's Powell, and it's blocked. But they'll get another chance. And they'll turn it over. Could not get off a shot. 24-second violation. The Heat leading by 7. Now Wade. He's got 8. Passes to McRoberts. And the foul called on Bismack Biyombo. That's his first foul of the game, and the bonus will go to the free throw line. Amari Stoudemire, with the change of scenery last season, was bought out by the Knicks, signed with the Mavs midway through the season.
That was the best thing to happen to Stoudemire, in my opinion, Kevin. He got to play playoff basketball again, and we know that wasn't going to happen in New York.
No good on that one. And he's good on the second. And Toronto has possession. 8-point game. Joseph with the ball. He's got 5. He feeds it to Patterson. And again, Toronto no up.
And for Stoudemire last year served as a backup big for the Mavs and was still as efficient as ever.
Now the dish to Richardson. Launches it. The basket good off the assist from Wade. Wade's got 6 assists now in the game.
Perfect screen there. Set him up with a terrific look.
Yeah, I like the fact that the setup was good, the screen was solid, but you also have to look at the fact that the defender didn't do his job as well as he could have.
Now here's Patterson. They set the screen. Powell, the pass to Ross. Shot clock at 5. Powell dishes to Biyombo. Shot is no good, and it's Miami the other way.
I don't think Stoudemire will ever be what he once was, but he is a valuable big to bring off the bench for a contending team in limited minutes.
Now here's Wade. He's got 8 and stolen by Biyombo. And here is Joseph. 1:31 left in the second quarter. Picked off in midair. The drive by Wade, stolen by Joseph. Patterson a screen on Wade. Here's Joseph. He has 5. Clock at 4. The Raptors need to get a shot off. Count the bucket.
And Kevin, they started the game shooting it so well. I'm surprised they haven't continued. They've got to get back to their strength.
Yeah, I mean, test the hot hand. You're exactly right. I say let those triples fly.
Stoudemire, the screen, stolen by Joseph. And oh, here we go. Joseph's got it. The fast break chance. Ross on the wing. Plenty of space. The rebound by McRoberts.
They've been the glass eaters today, guys. A ton of effort out of them down low.
It's been a difference maker for them in this game. That's what's put them in front.
Now here's Stoudemire. There's Winslow. Lays it in without an inch of room around him. Winslow's got 8 points. Raptors trail by 11. Clark, they've been looking out of sync offensively.
You know what? A basket here would do a lot for their confidence.
Now here's Ross. He's been patient so far, nothing yet on the scoreboard. Soft touch off the glass.
He's so tough to guard. He can fake you one way and then just spin right by you.
And that concludes the first half. Miami ahead, leading by 9. And a chance now to send you over to Doris Burke, standing by on the sideline. Doris?
Well, I'm with Eric Spoelstra, and obviously, Coach, some great work tonight on the defensive side of the ball. How does the team's defense play into your offense?
It just energizes us. We have an ignitable group, and that's how we play. So we have to continue to stay the course and try to keep them off the two-point line as best as we can.
Eric, thank you. Kevin, over to you.
Thank you, Doris. And folks, don't go away after the break. We'll see you right back here for the start of the second half in the third quarter.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello again, everybody. Ernie Johnson here alongside Kenny, the Jet Smith, and Shaquille O'Neal. We'll be looking back at the game's first half. A tremendous game we're seeing from Hassan Whiteside. He had 13 points, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. Let's hear from you, Shaq, on the Heat first half.
Well, Ernie, Kenny, the offense was running really well. And their shooting percentage was outstanding, and it wasn't just luck. It's because the offense never allowed the opposing defenders to get comfortable.
Looking at Toronto, Kenny, your thoughts?
Can this team please get fired up on defense? I mean, get angry, get upset. Guys are way too soft and giving up way too many good looks. At some point, you got to draw the line in the sand. Be like, okay, who's crossing this line? If you're coming over here, I'm taking a hard foul, and I'm going to resist you on defense.
And that's it for halftime as the second half is just about to get underway. See you after the game.
All right, the second half beginning in just a moment. Hassan Whiteside really making a difference here.
Yeah, how about that first half? He's already scored more points than he averages on the season.
Yeah, he's on pace for a monster game. It's too bad he can't score like this every night.
Raptors trail by 9. Lowry and DeRozan are the guard tandem. Jonas Valanciunas is out there with Scola. And it's Carroll in at the 3 spot. They're the group for Dwayne Casey starting the second half. Now here's Scola. Shot clock at 6. Mar DeRozan on the wing. A 3-pointer off the mark.
Some of the shots he's taken have been real head scratchers. I mean, come on. He's out there playing like it's a game of horse at the park.
Well, last year, Toronto won their division and got bounced out in the first round. Same result, Clark, they had back in 2014.
Yeah, but, you know, despite that sameness, they were an improved team last season, Kevin. They did a lot of the small things better in total, and I thought looked better and more cohesive as a group.
And for the Raptors, they're shooting in this game 45%. Scola against Johnson. Scola kicks to Lowry. And the foul called on Joe Johnson. That's his first foul. Here in this third quarter, just over a minute play. Here's Valanciunas, and no good. Trying to use the glass. Miami leading by 9. And there's Johnson. That's good. On the assist by Dragic. Johnson's got his team on the board first here in the second half for Miami. Now Lowry. He's got 6. Left side, DeRozan. Loses his man off the screen and lays it up and in. DeRozan's got 7 points.
And really, the defense didn't do a lot to fight around that screen on that possession.
Right side a screen. Johnson attacking. Dishes it to Dang. And another basket for Miami. And we're just around 2 minutes into the final half of play now. DeRozan with it. 7 points in the game. Valanciunas with a screen on Wade. 6 on the shot clock. 14 feet away. Scola, no luck.
That's a shot he's got to hit. You don't get many looks better from that range.
Johnson kicks to Whiteside. It's stolen by DeRozan. And it's good. Fought through contact. It's the shot. He'll go to the free throw line.
And how about that one-man fast break?
I love the power finish at the end of it, too.
And the Miami Heat have finished in the top 2 spots or better in each of the years the big 3 were in town. Last season that changed as they would end up 10th in that Eastern Conference.
And for the Heat, once the bullies of the Eastern Conference, they had a lot of trouble keeping up with other Eastern Conference teams.
Kevin, they finished 25-27 against the rest of the conference. Played under 500 against the East at home, which really negated their chances for the playoffs.
Now here's Carroll, following the miss by Hassan Whiteside. And it's DeRozan missing.
Well, there was no hand in his face right there. I thought for sure he was going to knock that down.
Whiteside sets the pick for Dragic. To the paint. The basket drops, and he gets fouled on the shot. One free throw coming his way.
They've had assists now on their last 3 baskets.
And it's not just their passing, but also the body movement off the ball that's created a lot of those opportunities.
And the Raptors making a change here. Patterson's checked in.
And I feel like there's a reason Joe Johnson has gotten a number of astronomical contracts. It's because he does everything for you. He's like one of those items you buy that touts everything you need, nothing you don't. Well, to me, that's Joe Johnson.
Clark, when you take a look at Joe Johnson, if you were on a good team, a team that was contending for a championship, where ideally would you like him to be? Where would you slot him?
I'd put him in that first or second scoring role because he's so good and scores so effortlessly. And at some point, I think he's going to hoist that Larry O'Brien trophy.
Patterson passes to Carroll. And foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. Well, I'm sure you guys have heard this, that the nickname that has been given to DeMarre Carroll, the Junkyard Dog, I think it's apropos. Kid drafted out of Missouri back in the 2009 draft.
Yeah, he actually had to show perseverance to hang around as he bounced around a bit. But I think he's found a home now.
The first free throw is good.
And Carroll, an energy player who's developed a reliable three-point stroke. I mean, he can also hurt you in transition. He's got terrific size and athleticism, and he also really knows how to play without the basketball.
Carroll hits them both.
And Carroll, by advanced stats, one of the most productive small forwards in our league. I mean, one thing I like, even as he's developed into a three-point threat, he still has an instinct for cutting to the rim off the ball when his defender turns his head. I mean, one of the things I think that allows his team to be so good is his understanding of how to play the game.
Here is Lowry after the made shot from Dwayne Wade. That's in, and the Miami lead is cut down now to just 9 on the basket from Kyle Lowry.
Really aggressive play there, taking it to the rack against the big fella.
You know, Greg, aggressiveness is really the only option when you're on the wrong side of the size equation.
Now, here's Wade. 10 points for him. And that one's good. Wade's got 4 this quarter.
And that's sort of been the story here today, hasn't it?
Dragic against Lowry. To the inside. Here's Scola. And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for 2. They get Luol Deng.
Yeah, easy call.
Yeah, you could hear the smack all the way over here where we are.
And now we'll get perspective here on how the hustle game has been going for the Heat.
Contested shots and block shots. They're bread and butter defensively. They're giving up no easy looks.
And also the ball hockey, the way they've come up with the steals, the way they've harassed the ball handler all day, forcing mistakes. They've really done a nice job of taking advantage.
So he makes 1 of 2 as the second one misses.
Well, you know, you look at the Raptors and they improved in a number of ways last season, but their bench play was one of their bigger improvements. I mean, they had one of the weaker benches in the league in 2014, but they flipped that around last year.
Raptors trail by 10. Outside Lowry. The pass to Patterson. 3-pointer. And it's Dang with the rebound.
Not only is their lead big, but their advantage on the boards is huge too.
They've been the aggressors, plain and simple, outworking them, fighting for every loose ball.
I tell you, Luol Deng is not exceptional in any one area, but really doesn't have any weaknesses either. I think he's been one of the most complete small forwards over the past decade in the league.
Talking about Luol Deng, his consistency year to year has been outstanding. Over 11 seasons, Greg, if you look at his averages across every category, they're remarkably similar.
And here's a guy who can score from anywhere. Great mid-range game, makes plays for his teammates, rebounds at both ends. He is versatile and bankable.
Second free throw, no good.
Take a look at what Hassan Whiteside's done. 11 rebounds, and what a tear he's been, rejecting shot after shot.
Clark, he has owned the paint.
Now, here's Lowry. He's got 8, and it's blocked by Whiteside. And now here's Johnson, the fast break chance. There's the bucket, good. 14 points for Dwayne Wade.
That's a terrific sequence at both ends of the floor. They block the shot and recover it for the fast break finish.
Lowry drives in.
And for Kyle Lowry, last season was full of milestones. First, he signs the big contract extension for 4 years. Then he earns his first ever All-Star selection. Unfortunately, he didn't finish as strong with the postseason, but a terrific year.
And this will be his second and third shots at the line here.
Taking 2 shots.
And the first one drops. Biombo, he's checked in for the Raptors. And he makes the first, but misses the second. The Heat leading by 11. Outside, Dragic. Inside, it's tipped. It's stolen by Carroll. Here's DeRozan. The shot's good on the assist by Lowry. Lowry's got 5 assists in the game.
And he is really in a zone right now, playing and scoring with confidence.
And on the topic of Lowry, he became only the 3rd Toronto Raptor ever, Clark, to be voted into the All-Star game.
Yeah, you know, Bosch and Vinsanity, the other two. Lowry also participated in the All-Star Weekend Steals Challenge. Man, he's been outstanding as a point guard.
And a tenacious leader for the Raptors. And Whiteside sends it back. And stolen by Patterson. And it's Whiteside with the rebound. Whiteside's got 12 rebounds here tonight. Big-time effort. DeRozan against Dragic. Five to shoot. Puts up the baby hook. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2. That one on DeRozan.
And it was a very public falling out between Goran Dragic and the Suns front office. That was a real tense few weeks there before ultimately he was traded.
Shooting 2. Shooting 2.
He's off on the first. And, of course, Dragic was traded to Miami last season. Said he felt betrayed by the Suns front office, which spurred him wanting out of Phoenix and to South Florida.
Yeah, you know what? We'll never know the whole truth about that situation, but Dragic said they told him one thing with personnel and did something else.
Powell, he's jacked in for Damari Carroll. Greg, after a run of 10 playoff trips in 11 years, the Miami Heat missing the postseason last year, they'd end up a game back of the 8th spot.
Yeah, and what's hard for the Heat, Kevin, is that they were in the playoff picture for most of the year, and as the season wore on, they slowly fell out of that top 8.
And here's Dragic, following the three-pointer by DeMar DeRozan. Whiteside sets the pick for Richardson. Feeds to Dang. To Whiteside, and And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot two.
You know, guys, for the greater part of last season, it appeared as though the Heat were playoff bound. Even with the players they lost, most figured they would be playing postseason basketball.
All right now, gentlemen, 2 shots. Loose shots.
First free throw is good.
And one reason why the Heat did come up short in their playoff aspirations, they were very poor against other teams in the playoffs. They only went 15-31 against teams that had made it into the postseason last year.
Catching up on the changes for Toronto. Terrence Ross is checked in for DeRozan. And Corey Joseph subbed in for Kyle Lowry. Both good from the line that time. Raptors trail by 8. And here is Joseph. He's got 5. Here's Powell. Good work defensively by Whiteside.
You know, they built their lead here by doing all the little things well.
And one of those little things, Clark, has been rebounding. They've come out and taken complete control of that glass.
Now here's Joseph. Justice Winslow missing his last shot. And Patterson kicks to Powell. He dishes it to Ross. Toronto working the ball around now. Shoots. Shot is good, and the Heat's lead is cut down now to just 6, and the basket from Powell.
What a move. Came out of the spin, stopped and popped. That is impressive.
Now here's Dragic. Now Winslow tries from 10, and the shot is long. Joseph with the ball. Down low, Diambo, and he floats in for the easy 2. Credit the assist on that one.
A nice run they put together here to bring it a little closer.
Yeah, they got hot. And I didn't think I'd be saying this a little while ago, but now this game's up for grabs.
Deng can't get it to go.
Good little 2-man action there, but they just can't get the shot to fall.
Yeah, but that was a beauty. Good-looking shot, well-executed play. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go back to it.
They're scoring boatloads of buckets. It's raining buckets from inside.
Well, the defensive rotations, Greg, have been a step slow, and it's really helped them get that ball inside time after time.
Josh McRoberts is checked in for the Heat. And Diambo, no good on that one.
You know, Dwayne Casey was once a player at Kentucky, took me and hosted me on my recruiting visit at Kentucky back in 1979. Actually got his coaching start at the school as well.
And he gets the bucket. And here is Ross. To the paint. Joseph dishes to Biombo. Miami grabs the miss. Nick Roberts has got his 3rd rebound tonight. Dragic the pass to Nick Roberts. In the corner, it's Richardson. That's good. And now a 6-point Miami lead.
That's how to orchestrate for your teammate. Terrific pass.
Here's Joseph. He's got 5. Patterson, the screen. For 3, Ross. They get it back. Here's Powell. The shot no good.
No one to blame on that one but himself. You get looks like that, you've got to take advantage.
Pass to McRoberts. Deng against Patterson. Feeds away. Toronto grabs the miss. Biombo's got 4 rebounds in this game. They set the screen. .139 left in the 3rd. Now here's Joseph. Just 5 to shoot. From deep three-point range, and it's Deng with the rebound. The Heat leading by 6. Now Dragic kicks to Richardson. The three, no good.
He certainly didn't take advantage of the poor defense, but they can't count on him to continue missing.
I tell you what, I think he'd be happy if he could continue to get looks like that.
Here's Powell. Richardson covering. Here's Powell. And again, Toronto no up.
And that's playing into the hands of the defense right there.
No way you can sneak that shot by him, Greg. I mean, he was all on top of that one.
They set the pick, and it's Dragic off the drive. Winslow kicks to McRoberts, and the shot is good. McRoberts has got his first points in this one.
That was the third straight high percentage look this defense has allowed. I mean, these defenders have got to start bumping bodies in the paint. Be more physical, be more aggressive.
The game's just far too easy right now when it comes to attacking the basket. They have got to do better.
Miami leading by 8. Dragic with it. The feed to Winslow. From past the arc. Misses there. And that's going to do it for the third quarter. Heat lead by 8. And right after this, we'll bring you the start of the final quarter right here on 2K Sports. The fourth quarter just moments away now as we welcome you back. And here are the Heat now on the floor for Miami starting the fourth. Winslow is out there with Johnson. Then there's Dwayne Wade. Then there's Richardson, and it's right side and at the pivot spot manning the middle. Now here's Joseph. Lowry kicks to Joseph. Passes it to Kira. And Whiteside sends it back. Now here's Winslow. Tight defense on him. Wade fires. It's good, and it's his 6th make against 11 attempts. Toronto with the ball, trailing by 10. And here is Joseph. Up top, Valanciunas. 6 on the shot clock. Lowry inside the line. Second chance shot, and 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there. And what you have to like out of Valanciunas last season, improved efficiency. The game really, Clark, seemed to slow down for him.
Yeah, he entered the league a little green. I mean, would make a lot of mistakes, but had excellent tools. So with enthusiasm and hard work, you knew it was just a matter of time with him.
The Raptors making a switch here. Scola's checked in. And he makes both free throws.
And for Valanciunas last year, his offensive production was similar to the year before, but he cut down on his turnovers. He also raised his shooting percentage to a career-high 57%, and that, my friends, is improved efficiency.
There's Winslow, and he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
You know, talking about Valanciunas, the light clearly went on last season. He was more assertive, refined his postgame. The next step is to extend his shooting range so he can help space the floor on offense.
And he makes the first.
And one thing we know about Justice Winslow, he is great on the big stage. He was amazing in the tournament for Duke a season ago, got better and better as he helped his school capture the national championship.
No good on the second free throw. With Winslow, it's all about improvement and being great on the big stage. I think he can do that, Greg. You talked about, what he did in the national championship run. Clark, he was a fantastic foundation to begin with.
Yeah, you know what? He's not got many holes in his game. Solid at the defensive end, can score a lot of ways. Puts his hands on winning at both ends of the floor.
Here's Johnson. And we're around 2 minutes into the fourth quarter here. Again, the miss by the Heat.
Outstanding perimeter defense there. That was a well-contested shot.
Yeah, and he takes a lot of pride in his defense. There are no easy threes if he's on it.
And stolen by Richardson. To the middle. And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for two.
Kevin, it's disheartening to see them keep missing opportunities to extend the lead at the line. I mean, when you have a chance to put a team away from the line, you want to take advantage of that. You don't want to give them a chance to come back on you.
And look, Joe Johnson last season, not his best statistically, but boy, did he show some heart. I mean, he was one of the catalysts for Brooklyn making the playoffs, especially when Brook Lopez returned healthy and the two could play off of one another.
So after making the first, he goes 1 for 2. Talking about Joe Johnson, I'm not going to lie. Last year wasn't one of his best statistically, Clark. His shooting accuracy was on the low end. His turnover numbers were high. It wasn't very pretty.
But for Joe, Kevin, I don't think it was about the numbers last year. It was about wanting to compete and to win. And he's developed a champion's will over the years. And I would like to see him finally achieve his goal of maybe winning the championship. I think he deserves it. He's been consistent, he's been solid, and now you see some maturation with him as well.
And over 2.5 minutes in the books here in the fourth. From 10 feet out, and it's blocked by Whiteside.
They're completely untracked here. Actually, they're off the track. I'm not seeing the usual flow and movement from the offense from this team. And that's not like them. That's out of character. They got to get back to their free-flowing offense.
Now here is Lowry after the miss from Joe Johnson. The dish now to Scola. The shot's good on the assist by Lowry. And that's now 9 points for Luis Scola. Miami leading by 8. Whiteside a screen. Wade dishes to Winslow. Whiteside a screen on Scola. Here's the screen from deep. Richardson. Again, the miss by the Heat.
He certainly didn't take advantage of the poor defense, but they can't count on him to continue missing.
I tell you what, I think he'd be happy if he can continue to get looks like that.
Now, here's Valanciunas. Shakes off the strong D and gets the bucket for 2. Valanciunas has got 4 points this quarter. Miami's gotten off to an 0 for 2 start from downtown here in the fourth quarter. Dishes it to Richardson. Baseline J on the way, and the shot falls short this time.
He's been anything but his usual self this quarter. It's actually been ugly to see.
The pass to Scola. Out of bounds, Miami takes possession.
You always want a player to have his head up and to be surveying the court, but not if that's going to be the result.
Here's Wade. Let's catch up with Doris from the sideline.
Guys, over that last break, I listened to Eric Spoelstra address his team. With his team struggling from three-point territory, he told them to start looking for more high-quality shots inside the paint. We're forcing too many threes, he said. Stop with the bombs and work it inside.
Now, here's Richardson. Now, here's Wade. Winslow setting the pick for Wade. Back to Richardson. Shot clock at 5. That falls. Nice feed that time from Dwayne Wade. And the Heat lead by 9.
Heads up play there, guys, on the assist and the finish.
Now Lowry trying to find Valanciunas. It's to him. Can't hit from the low block. Johnson outside. Richardson with it. There's the pick. Miami needs to get a shot off. Johnson can't get it to go. Raptors trail by 9. Outside DeRozan. He kicks it to Scola. Takes it from 10. And the shot is good. Scola's got 4 points in the quarter.
Read the defense perfectly on that possession.
And here is Johnson. He feeds it to Richardson. Can't hit. Excellent D there for Scola.
Well defended, though, and he's not someone who handles that kind of pressure very well.
Pass to Carroll. Launches it. That's good. Now just a 4-point Miami lead. Miami's gone 1 of 3 from outside the arc since we've reached the 4th quarter. Wade kicks to Winslow. Feeds to Richardson. Good ball movement here by Miami. That's good. 20 points now in the game for Hassan Whiteside.
You know, it's really going to be all about hard work from this point on. And they worked hard to create that high-quality shot right there.
No question.
And you talk about momentum. That sort of action delivers a type of energy to your team that you just can't quantify.
You know what? I'm going to quantify it right now, Clark. And this is a close game, and that was something special.
And really,
Good try.
in a game, you guys, in a game like this, though, when you have a chance to send a message, you do. And boy, did he ever on that play.
That Kia Slam Cam replay really gave you a good look at the action. Scola passes to DeRozan. A fader. It's hauled in by the Heat. The biggest lead of the game, 15 points. Puts it up from 12. Buries the jump shot. And that's now 7 points for Johnson. Raptors trail by 6. Lowry kicks to DeRozan. Scola, a screen on Wade, and DeRozan. Here we go. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here. That's on Dwayne Wade.
Wow, he got whacked on that one. Shouldn't be much debate there.
Blatant contact. Straightforward call. Simple. Looking at the game for DeRozan, he has 17 points and 2 nice steals as well. It's been a really complete performance for him today.
And Clark, he's made a huge impact at both ends of the floor.
Patterson, he's checked in for Luis Scola. And then for Miami, Dang comes in for Winslow. And it's Dragic in for Richardson. Both free throws good from DeRozan.
There's not a lot you can say that hasn't been said before about his skill at the charity stripe.
Dragic kicks to Dang. Dang, a screen on DeRozan. The drive by Wade comes up empty off the pick. Toronto trailing. Outside DeRozan. And a kind roll that time off the rim as that one falls. DeRozan's got 21.
He's been a different guy here in the second half. His shooting percentage far better than it was before the break.
Here's Wade. Good. Wade's got 10 points in just the second half.
Just so reliable. I mean, that basket there will give them a little bit more of a cushion.
And it's blocked by Dang. They recover it. And that's out of bounds. Toronto will retain possession. Johnson against Carroll. Back to Patterson. He dishes it to DeRozan. 4 on the shot clock. Here's Valanciunas. Just couldn't take the lid off. They had their chances, but came up empty. Johnson dishes to Whiteside from outside the arc, and Dragic gets it to go on the assist by Whiteside. That's 7 points for Goran Dragic. Raptors trail by 7. Lowry passes to DeRozan, and a beautiful feed leads to a monster jam.
I like the fact that he led his teammate right to the ideal spot. You don't always throw it to your teammate. You throw it to where he needs to be.
Dragic kicks to Dang. Here's Johnson. Takes it off the glass. Johnson's got 5 points in the quarter.
He's definitely turned things around in this game. I mean, he was more of a background player in the first half. He's jumped center stage now.
Patterson a screen on Dragic. Lowry dishes to Patterson. DeRozan against Wade. And DeRozan. Here we go. And the foul on Jonas Valanciunas. That will be foul number 5 on him.
That's really a tough call. One you don't like to see, but it was called, and now he's got to really make sure that he's on top of his game here in regards to not picking up another foul. That was his 5th right there.
Dang kicks to Johnson. Right side a screen. Wade outside. Pulls from the top of the key. Can't get it to go. And Toronto will go the other way with it.
They get that one, but guys, on the night, that's been the problem, securing the ball.
They've been out-hustled. At this point, hard to see them recovering from that.
The basket drops, and he gets fouled on the shot. 1 free throw coming his way. So we'll see DeMar DeRozan go to the line here. They get Luol Deng. That's good from DeMar DeRozan.
Tremendous job at the line as usual. You can always bank on him in those situations.
Pass to Day. 3-pointer. Rebounded by Valanciunas.
He's not exactly striping them from deep. He had 1 3-ball in the first half. Still bageled in the second.
The drive by Lowry. Here's Patterson, and a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for 2. That's on Goran Dragic.
All the officials are all over that one.
Clearly a foul. I mean, didn't give him any choice but to blow the whistle. I mean, you got to play without fouling.
At the line for your Raptors, Patrick Patterson. Taking 2 shots.
It's the first that narrows the gap to 1. Second free throw, no good that time. He really wanted that one. Wade finds in, count it, and the foul. That's on Patrick Patterson.
How about these big shots for him in the 4th? He has been locked and loaded offensively.
D-Wade playing well. He has 20 points, then his huge assist tally makes it all the more impressive.
You know what? He's the catalyst. He's the reason why this team plays with such harmony. And if his passing continues, they are going to be dangerous. And really a great job to maintain his composure. How about the body control there? Now he gets the and 1 and turns this into a 2-possession game.
There's 1:54 left in the 4th quarter. Outside Lowry. Back to DeRozan. Fires from the line. And it's Miami with the rebound. Dang's got his 6th rebound on the night. Wade passes to Dragic. Dang dishes to Wade. Goes back Whiteside. They get the rebound, and he gets it to go. Whiteside's got 9 points now in just the second half.
And really, they've rebounded well all game long.
Yep, and they've needed every one of those boards. This game's still close.
And it's good from the elbow. DeRozan's got 30 points.
No matter what the score is, his attitude has been perfect. I love his disposition. He has stayed in attack mode.
Wade kicks to Whiteside. The shot's good on the assist by Wade. Wade's got his 8th assist in the game. Raptors trail by 6. Valanciunas with a screen on Wade. Here's DeRozan. Here's Valanciunas. Laid in with a nice touch off the glass. Valanciunas has got 6 points in the quarter.
Huge play on the offensive glass there to get more second chance points. He's only getting more physical as this game wears on.
Wade up top, DeRozan defending. No good from Wade.
Yeah, they collect one there, but overall, -10 rebounding for the game.
And you wonder why they're losing big? Well, wonder no more. I mean, you hit the nail on the head there, partner.
Outside Dan. And there's the feed to Dragic. Pass to Whiteside. Oh, and there's the one-handed jam.
Tell you what, he's not an easy guy to stop when he's got his sight on the rim.
Never has been, never will be. He is a determined finisher.
Did he just go chop there with that one-hand tomahawk slam?
Three-pointer, Lowry. Buries it. What a beautiful shot to bring him to within 3.
Maybe he's not one of the elite sharpshooters, but even still, that's not a shot that D can afford to give him.
He drops the first one, and that gives them a 4-point cushion. And the second free throw, no good. A tough break there. And here's Toronto. 4-point game.
Ill-advised shot there, Clark.
Yeah, exactly. That was lower than low percentage.
And the foul on Jonas Valanciunas. And so he's picked up his final foul. And he will sit for the rest of this game. First free throw is good, and that puts them up by 5. So he gets them both, and it's a 6-point ball game.
The free throws go down, and the lead goes up.
17 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Scola, no luck. And now we've got the intentional foul.
At the line for the Raptors, Hassan Whiteside. At the line for 2.
And the first of 2, no good. Heartbreaker. That's good, going 1 of 2 from the line, and that makes it a 7-point lead. Lowry kicks to Patterson. Carroll dishes to Lowry. DeRozan passes to Patterson. Deflects the pass. Lowry from outside misses. And so it's Miami winning this one. A truly gutsy performance away from home.
You know, it really was. And Kevin, when this one was hanging in the balance late, they showed just what a tough-minded group they can be.
And time now to go courtside as we send you over to Doris Burke from the sideline. Doris?
Well, Joe, congratulations on this win. This was a game where we saw plenty of great sequences, some nice runs put together. What changes for the team out on the floor when you guys start rolling like we witnessed here tonight?
We just picked up our energy and effort. We was able to get some stops, got out in transition, started making a few shots, and it just kind of got contagious.
Well, this was fun for us to watch, Joe. Thanks for the time. Guys?
Thank you, Doris. Great interview once again. And that's going to do it tonight, folks, for our broadcast. For Greg Anthony, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan saying thank you for watching the NBA presented by 2K Sports. We'll see you next time.
The 2K Sports post-game show.
Kevin, much appreciated. And now let's present our Jordan player of the game, Hassan Whiteside. He put up a new season high tonight. And if he keeps shooting like he did tonight before the season's over, he might top it. A big key to his team's victory here.
When you talk about Whiteside, you're talking about a guy capable of putting up 20 every single night. We've seen him do that more than a few times, and he's going to keep doing it. His rebounding is fantastic. He's always around the ball. And his timing is outstanding. This guy has great shot-blocking instincts.
They leaned on his defense heavily, and he produced. He rejected 8 shots. That's what I call protecting the rim. Such great awareness and determination. There was no back down in him, fellas.
And that'll do it for our broadcast tonight. Hope you enjoyed the show. For me and Kenny Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kevin Harlan, and the entire 2K Sports crew, have a wonderful evening.